She said, can you make me feel alive? I just wanna feel alive. She said, can you make me feel alive? I just wanna feel alive. Gonna hold you down but I'm your thigh. I'ma feel you alive. She said, can you make me feel alive? I'ma make you feel alive.
So, as you read by the title, this is a story time on how I found out I was pregnant. So, let me get into this. Because we just literally was talking about this like a month before I found out I was pregnant. We were saying, like, I was like, well, I know if I was pregnant, this and then the third. So, it was May 23rd. Yeah, it was May 23rd when I found out I was pregnant because my period was a week late. And I just kept telling my boyfriend, I was like, oh, it's going to come like in a few days. It's going to come like next week. Because, you know, some girls, like, our period be late or whatever like that. So I'm thinking my period was late. So towards the end of that month, like towards the end of May, like I just was like sick. My food was extra nasty. It was just like I was throwing up. But still in my mind, I was just like, I only threw up probably maybe like twice. So that's probably what really made me think that I wasn't really pregnant. But, and like, I was just feeling really sick and stuff. And then it was one night, it was on the 23rd of that night. And we was packing, we was getting ready to leave and go to Texas. So we was packing and we ran out of tape. So we went to Walgreens to get some more tape. And we had got snacks and stuff. So I just randomly walked down the pregnancy test aisle and I got a test and my boyfriend was like, oh, what you walking down this aisle for? And I'm just like, just get on my face. So I got a pregnancy test. We went to the house, got back to the house. I went to the bathroom, we went in the room and I peed on the stick or whatever I'm using in the bathroom. And then the whole pregnancy test thing, like, it turned pink. And then I saw one line came down. I just was like, you know, whatever, like, oh, I'm not pregnant. And then that's when I picked it up again and it had a faded line. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I was showing my boyfriend or whatever. He was like, oh, I already knew this and that and the third. And I'm just like, you ain't know shit. You ain't know nothing. But the crazy thing about it is, like, a week, I think it was, a month before that, my little nephew was like, oh, next month you're not gonna, and he was like, next month your period not gonna come, this and the third. And I'm like, you a child, you talking nonsense. I don't know what made him say that. And then it was just like, damn, like, my period didn't come and I'm pregnant and this and the third. So we went to the hospital like later that day because, like, I just wanted to get checked and like see if everything was okay. And I don't know why I look high. It's hot out here. We fishing and stuff. But he fishing. But it's hot out. But yeah, back to the store. And we went there. And the lady was like, she was like, oh, you just came here to see if you was pregnant? I was like, no. I was like, I found that I was pregnant, but I just came here to get checked on and see if everything was okay. And they said something was wrong, but they didn't know what they was talking about because she asked me, was I bleeding? And I told her I was just spotting. So she made it seem like that I was bleeding or whatever like that. I ain't like the hospital, that clinic, the hospital, none of it or whatever like that. So when we got to Texas, I didn't go to none of my appointments until I was like 24 weeks. I started going to my appointments when I was 24 weeks pregnant. I started going to Baylor Scott and White, that's in Temple, Texas. And yeah, they told me when we went to the hospital and stuff, well, before that, they didn't want to induce my labor because they said that they didn't know how many weeks that I really was, because I started coming to them when I was 24 weeks and they said that they didn't know if I was really 24 weeks. So the lady, one of the doctors, she swept my membrane so I could start labor. And she told me not to tell the doctors or whatever like that because she wasn't supposed to do that. But like I said, I got my membrane swept February 21st. That was appointment that I had for a checkup. And I got my membrane swept that day. I was not even gonna go to that appointment because I was telling my boyfriend, I was like, I'm tired of being pregnant. I'm tired of going to appointments. I was just tired. I was over it. My baby did not want to come out. He was just stubborn. He did not want to come out. Like, I was so tired. I was like, I didn't want to go to this appointment. But we went to the appointment and the doctor, she swept my membrane. She was like that she wasn't supposed to do that because the whoever was over her, like her boss basically, I guess, whatever, how the doctor stuff work, I don't know. Whoever was over her told her, like, you know, don't do it because we don't really know if she's really, like, you know, 40 weeks pregnant or if she really passed her due date, because they didn't want him to come out early if they did that. But I was 40 weeks pregnant or whatever. And later that day, I started having contractions. Like when we got home, like before that, she told me, she was like, oh, you're gonna have feel this, you're gonna feel that. She was like, you might spot a little, you're gonna be in a lot of pain and this. And I asked her when should, like, I go into labor, or when, like, you know, she was like, probably sometime tonight. So me, you know how girls is, we go on YouTube or the internet, we search up everything to get answers. So that's what I did. And people was like, oh, I had to get my membrane swept twice, I had to get it swept 3 times, or it didn't work and this and that. So that right there really made me mad. I was just like, what if it don't work? Like, you know, I was mad. I was like, I'm tired of being pregnant. So I had a yoga ball, and when we got home, I was on the yoga ball for probably about a good hour. I was on the yoga ball on YouTube. I was doing that, bouncing. Then I started feeling like more and more pain, so like I had to lay down, and I was trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't. I feel like probably like an hour, maybe about 2 to 3 hours of being home from the doctor's appointment. I feel like I was in labor all the way until I went to the hospital at 4 in the morning. So back to what I was saying. My lip look bust. It's not bust though. My lip bust. But I was trying to lay down and go to sleep, but I couldn't go to sleep because I was in a lot of pain. And it's just like, it just kept coming. It just kept coming and kept coming. And my boyfriend kept asking me that I want to go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital, this and that and the third. Because I'm just thinking it's just the pain that the lady told me. I'm just thinking it was that pain. So it was about, I say about 4 in the morning, probably 3 something, around 4 in the morning. And I went to the bathroom and I wiped myself and I was bleeding. And I don't like blood. I don't do blood. I don't do blood at all. So I went back to the room and I told my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm ready to go to the hospital. I was like, I'm ready to go. I was like, I was bleeding, even though she told me that. But it was just like I was in a lot of pain. Labor pains, they hurt, but to me, they was takeable, but it hurt, but it was takeable. And at that time, I was having them like 2 minutes apart, 2 to 3 minutes apart. Like they was coming fast. So we get to the hospital, I'm in triage, and you know, triage is where they check to see if you're really in labor or whatever like that, because some people probably like to fake it to see if, you know, fake it to see that they're in labor when they're really not. So I'm looking at the monitor thing, his heart rate and stuff, and every time I see these big lines, and I'm like, oh my God, it's about to hurt, it's about to hurt. I was in labor for probably over 19 hours. I was in the hospital from 4 in the morning all the way until 9 p.m. That's when I had him. I had him at 9:09 p.m. And the whole time I had got epidural when we got there, and my stomach was just hurting. But the worst part to me about labor, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I don't know if this is with everybody or just some people, but to me the worst part about labor was when I got epidural and I just felt so numb. My legs felt paralyzed. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. I hated that. And I hated the fact that I kept telling the lady that I had to poo. And she kept telling me, oh, that's just what you feel. You don't really have to poo. And I'm like, I have to poo. Like, I know I have to poo. I have to poo. And she kept saying, you don't have to poo, and this and that and the third. And I just kept telling my boyfriend, I'm like, my booty hurt. I was like, my booty hurt. I got the poo. This and that and the third. It was so painful. And they checked me. I was still 2 centimeters dilated. Then a couple hours, probably like an hour later, they came back and checked me. I was 8 centimeters dilated. And then they you start to pre-push. I guess that's what you call it. I don't really know what you call it. I feel like that's what I was doing, pre-pushing. Then that's when all the doctors came in there, and yeah, all the doctors came in there. And then that's when it was the little table thingies that you put your feet on. They did that, and it just was like push this. I was pushing for probably like an hour and a half. That's kind of long, but I heard some people push for like 5 hours, 30 minutes. They say the baby just slipped out. I thought my baby was just gonna come out, because I'm thinking, oh, I got this, not that hard. And I wasn't really pushing him through my vagina. I know some people do that, but when I was doing it, it felt like it didn't really work. So I started straining like through my butt or whatever like that. And like, you know, he was coming a little, but the doctor had to use this suction thingy. I don't really know what it's called. And you know, it go in the head to help pull them out faster when you're not pushing. Like, you know, I was pushing good, but it was like, I feel like I was losing oxygen and stuff like that. And I had caught a fever, and my baby had to take antibiotics because I had a fever, and I had to take antibiotics too. Like, you know, it was horrible. So yeah, back to what I was saying. And so I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, and his head was out. And when his head was out, I'm telling my boyfriend, I'm screaming like I was about to cry. I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And they just like push. And I'm like, I can't breathe. And my boyfriend like, just push his head out, this and that and the third. And I just want to snatch him so hard. Because I'm like, you not laying up here pushing no baby out your vagina. I was like, it don't hurt because I was on medicine. But it was just like, damn, like I'm losing my oxygen. And then, you know, after a while, my baby came out. I was holding him. I was crying. I was like, I can't believe I just pushed a human being out my vagina. I was like, I really just gave birth to a human. And he's my human. He's my little human. I was like, I can't believe I did this. Like, I was so emotional. And still to this day, of course, he only 2 months now. Like, I'm still emotional. It's like, he's so perfect to me, even though people be like, nobody perfect. My baby is so perfect to me. He loved me to death. I love him to death. He loved his daddy to death. His daddy loved him to death. His grandma, everybody just love him. He loved everybody. He always smiling. He's happy. He's a happy baby. He's so gorgeous, so beautiful. I love him so much. I wouldn't change nothing. I don't regret having him. I just love everything about him. It's just like, I feel like only people with kids can understand this. And I understand what parents that say that, I understand where they're coming from now. Like, it's so real. Like, you get so attached to your child. I don't understand how some people just don't be attached to their child. It's just like, dang, I'm so attached to him. Like, I don't like being away from him too long. Like, oh my God, I get so emotional to talk about my baby. But yeah, he was 8 pounds and 4 ounces. I just could not stop staring at him. He was a big baby. I was eating when I was pregnant. Like, I was eating a lot. I was hungry. I was really hungry. And that's what made me get fatter now, because of him. And I was eating. But it's okay. I'm gonna be back in the gym after quarantine over, or I might just start walking. Me and my boyfriend starting meal preps, and we have, like, you know, healthy food and stuff like that, fruits, vegetables. We have healthy stuff, a lot of water, not really juices. We have juices, but it's like kind of healthy juices, I guess you could say that. But yeah, that's the story of me going into labor and how I found out I was pregnant. Thank you. We have another video that's uploaded. Y'all could go check that out. It's on this channel, Go Gang TV, of the video of me being in labor. That's what that is. So y'all could go check that out. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment. Stay tuned.